Hello everybody and welcome to this video on Palantir. So today I'm considering selling some Palantir to buy Snowflake. And the reason for that is because I was particularly disappointed by their Q3 results on the commercial segment. I'm a shareholder of Palantir. I believe they're a great company, but the market doesn't seem to agree with me. And so let me tell you a little bit of the premise of why I invested in the company and why I think it might be time to move a little bit of money off of Palantir into another company, Snowflake. So first of all, let me say that I am invested in Palantir solely for the commercial segment. This company's revenue is still mostly coming from its government segment, but the government segment has a growth potential of 20 to 25% revenue growth each year. That doesn't interest me. I'm interested in super high growth stocks. So I'm really invested in Palantir because of a commercial segment, because of a huge potential it has to become the operating system of the modern enterprise, just like it has become the operating system of some of the most high-performing parts of government. That's the thesis of Palantir, that they can take what they've done in the government and actually implement it in companies and sell it with companies. So I still think, based on the data I have and based on the hours, dozens of hours that I've spent studying the software, I still think they have the best software to become the operating system of the organization of the future. But I'm afraid right now the commercial revenue numbers are decelerating. They're not showing adoption. Um, Let me walk you back to my long-term thesis. So right now, most businesses are still human-driven. Most businesses still have layers of managers making decisions based on the data that they get through their own eyes, yeah, right, through what they see, through what they hear, and also through emerging technology in the form of dashboard, through data dashboards. So managers make decisions right now mostly through their intuition and what they see on the field, and through data dashboards. And in the future, the thesis for investing in Palantir is that in the future, managers will make their decisions mostly. Sorry, they will mostly not make the decisions in the future. In the future, it will be mostly the software that makes the decision. So managers will rely less and less on their skills to make decisions. Managers will build software and improve software, but the software will be the operating system of the business. That is my main thesis for investing in Palantir. But this technology and this thesis is an exponential adoption curve. I don't think it's going to be linear. Just like when Tesla all of a sudden became a leader, well, it was years in the making, 8 years in the making, 8 years of wait. And so the question is, we're still in that phase right here, right now. And how long do we have to wait until we actually get exponential revenue growth? Are we way too early on Palantir? And I think we may be early on Palantir. The exponential revenue growth is not happening right now because companies are just not investing a lot right now because of this economy. They don't want to invest a lot right now. So how long are we going to have to wait for this exponential adoption? Is their competitive advantage, the quality of their software, their technology, is that going to erode a little bit? Is that going to expire a little bit if their technology is actually adopted in 2027 or 2028? That's one of the big questions that I ask. So let me walk us through a number. So when you start reading the shareholder letter, it seems like they're in denial of the numbers. Alex Korp says, our company is emerging as the dominant provider of foundational data platforms. I don't think so. I think Snowflake right now is the emerging provider. What is a foundational data platform, right? That's too broad of a term. That's not narrow. That's not narrow enough. Like it could mean anything. I just don't see it in the number. If you're emerging as the leader, at least for commercial applications, you should be growing much faster. And this is what I really didn't like. I really didn't like this. And you got to be very careful on YouTube. People are praising the results everywhere on the internet, saying it was amazing. But I think for most of the people's reasons as to why they're invested in this company, it was not amazing. Total commercial revenue growth. Look, this is all they say. They compare Q3 2021 to Q3 2022, and they show we've grown 17%. Well, first of all, that's concerning. That's not very high. But the numbers are actually even worse. So I dug back into 4 different presentations, quarterly presentations, to get back these numbers. These are the actual growth numbers. You can go and look them up. This is exactly what it is between Q3 2021 and Q3 2022. So we have a full year and how much they sold in the commercial segment, which is what I think most people are invested in. I'm invested in the commercial segment. That's why I own this company. Look, 174 million, 194 million, a little bit of growth, 210 million, and then 204 million. So quarter over quarter, they've just dropped. They just lost revenue quarter over quarter. And between Q1 and Q2, the quarter over quarter growth was no good. So they are showing a 17% growth, which is really, really not good for a software company. And they're showing us this as something potentially good. At least that's where the commentary on YouTube is saying, oh, this is so great, this is so great, this is so great. I don't think it's that great, actually. And this is when you put it in the chart. Like, what are we going to get in Q4? Is Q4 going to drop another 5%? Are we going to be right here in Q4? Then it might look essentially flat. It's not doing well. Additionally, the net dollar retention rate is 119%. There's mediocre SaaS companies out there that have 130%, right? So it's not that high either. So I am concerned about how they sell their product to the average corporation, to the traditional corporate buyer. I'm not sure they're resonating and they're connecting. And when you look at everything they say in their commercials, their marketing, their communication to shareholders, it's all so good, and they're the very, 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 very best. But if they're the very, very, very best, shouldn't this show in growth, in numbers? Like dollars spent don't lie, and people are not spending a lot of money on these products right now. So it would be less of a concern if other companies that they call competitors were doing the same, right? It would be more of a macro thing. But wait a minute. How long do we have to wait, right? How long do we have to wait? Are we simply too early? Is Palantir too early? So when I said, wait a minute, my question about competition against Foundry, which is their commercial software, my question that I have was the same question that was asked by the first question of the conference calls. And the first question was, how is Palantir doing against competition from Snowflake and competition from Microsoft's new offerings? How is Foundry doing? Because both Snowflakes, Microsoft, and to a lesser extent Salesforce are moving into data apps. They're launching their products. Snowflake launched its data app product 4 months ago. So they're moving in. And this was the response, which is a little concerning. Palantir's response to the competition question. They do not have ontology. Ontology is needed for data app to work. Took us 15 years to build. It's the best. They said that multiple times. People don't realize how hard it is to build. It's the best again. That's why the US government used us to manage the events of 2020. They said it was an example of why they are the best. And they're glad competition is coming because competition is validating the thesis of data apps. But they essentially are saying that Palantir will always be the best and will always be ahead. And that has always been the defense. And so, frankly, I believe that. Like Palantir powers the US military, the best of the best. They do power the best of the best. Like, I believe that. But, that doesn't mean others can't catch up. The pace, Palantir was a company founded in 2003, right? 10 years from 2003 to 2013, innovation was not going as fast back then. Today, innovation moves much, 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 much faster. Like other companies can catch up, I believe. Right? It's not good to at least not acknowledge that there is a little threat here. And this is what they conclude also their response to this competition question, which is ontology, part of their foundry system, is needed to realize value on top of cloud data warehouses. And I think this is where this is a vote for Snowflake, because Snowflake will not be disrupted. Like cloud data warehouses are the foundation of this operating system of the future. The operating system of the future will be built on data warehouses. It will be built on top of it. But just because Palantir has similar offerings in its system doesn't mean that Palantir will replace the warehouse, right? We're betting on data apps. We're betting on ontology. That's why we're investing in Palantir. So it's entirely possible to see ontology, to see Foundry run on Palantir. So to me, this removes a layer of risk to Snowflake. So again, what's our era right now? Well, I believe our era right now is that of data, cloud, warehouses, data lakes, putting your data into the clouds, and we are in the era of generating dashboards. We are in the hybrid era of management. Managers are still mostly going hybrid, and with this crisis, they're going with what they know, and what they know is managing with dashboards. And who's the best at that? Well, it is still the cloud, the data cloud and the operating system of a modern organization in the form of a data cloud. And who's the leader of a data cloud right now? It is Snowflake. And when you look at Snowflake, contrary to Palantir on their shareholder presentation, Snowflake does not make you have to go through the numbers of the past 4 presentation. It doesn't make you have to do that. It actually writes it and doesn't hide it in any way. It shows you exactly Snowflake. The revenue from their cloud, 466 million. The darker blue here is consulting fees. But look at the revenue. The revenue of Snowflake is growing 86% year over year, and it has not shown any sign of deceleration. Actually, between Q1 and Q2, of which we were well into a recession back then, the narrative has not changed. The market has been bad back then. It was bad back then. They have grown. Look at that. They have grown their revenue, and they grew their revenue at 86%. Palantir, in the meantime, over the same period, 17%. So just for that, Snowflake is growing much faster. Snowflake is growing much faster. They're getting much faster adoption. And their revenue dropped on Palantir. So I am concerned. Another thing that concerns me is the dollar-based net retention rate. How much money do your customers spend tomorrow compared to today? Palantir's customer spend 119% more tomorrow. Each year, compounded. 171% for Snowflake. This is like the highest thing. Like Snowflake, as far as DBNR go, has one of the best DBNR of any cloud business right now. So companies are loving Snowflake, and they're spending more and more on Snowflake each year. And this will compound. So I do believe Snowflake has a potential to actually grow between 80 and 70% going forward for quite a long time. Well, with this dollar retention rate, if you don't gain new customers, yes, you're stuck between that, 15 to 25% revenue growth. So this exponential adoption that we're all hoping for is not happening anytime soon, it seems to me. So this is why I might sell some Palantir. I'm down on the investment, like I think most of us. I might save some Palantir, sell some Palantirs, and put it into another stock. Make some losses. It's important to make losses at the end of the year, and actually move some of that money into Snow, because cloud data warehouses like Snowflake or Databricks, which is not public, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be here to stay. Those data apps are going to be built on those warehouses. Those warehouses have network effects, and they're going to be here to stay. And they fit much more with the current stage of business, which is the dashboard stage. And the question that I ask is, when data apps become mainstream, which I eventually believe they will, data apps will become mainstream. Businesses will be operated by software eventually. I really believe that. There's really two options when that happens. Maybe Snowflake's offering caught up with Palantir. Maybe Microsoft's offering got caught up with Palantir. Maybe they do. And if they do, then they're a big threat to Palantir. And what if they don't? Well, if they don't, you don't have that much downside because Snowflake remains a major data warehouse. So you're really downside protected. You're really protected on your downside if they don't. And so this is in a chart where I think we are right now. We're in the era of Snowflake. We're in the era of dashboard. We're in the era of companies trying to get a few data insights from all of their data and loading it into a cloud for easy management. I think that's the era we're in. In the future, our era could be Snowflake, could be Snowflake alone with their own data app solution. Snowflake with Palantir, could be Palantir alone, could also be Databricks with Palantir, Databricks with their own solution. But in the future, I'm pretty sure, not investment advice, but I'm pretty sure in the future, Snowflake will be a part of the equation. So you have downside, you have downside protection by doing this. And Snow is growing now. Snow is growing at well above 80% now and has staying power. Palantir is not growing right now. So I am concerned about that. I was hoping to see huge adoption, like I think a lot of us were. And again, this is another example, and I'll finish on this slide. This is an example of, well, not investment advice, but the example here is the stocks have been punished exactly the same. Year to date, Palantir is down 61%. 61.09, and year to date Snowflake is down 61.1. Like, how crazy is that? Like, these stocks have been punished exactly the same. Maybe I was lucky, but I took it on the same day, everything on the same day, same screenshot. They're down the same. But one of them has not had any deceleration. One of them is actually doing really, really well, Snowflake. And Palantir has had a deceleration in growth. Commercial growth is not doing as well for Palantir, and we're punished the same. So not investment advice, entertainment only, but to me, I think it makes sense to sell some Palantir and to move into Snowflake, provided that Snowflake's earnings on Q3 are going to be good. So I'll be waiting until the Q3 earnings and to see, but I think this is a smart move, and I think I'm going to do that. I will never ever sell out completely of Palantir because their CEO, their company, what they've done, some of the things they've accomplished, I think is very impressive, and it's important to have an option on the future. But to me, this is getting very compelling to swap some shares from Palantir into Snowflake, especially with tax loss harvesting in mind. Very different companies here. Different companies. So, but tax loss harvesting is I think is a good idea here. So again, not investment advice. Hope you really enjoyed this video. It took me a lot of time to do. Hope you enjoy my channel. I hope to continue putting out more videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video.